Tonight, you don't just watch the news, you actually become part of it. It's out with the old, in with the new. That's what the El Paso School District is doing to keep students and to keep other districts from luring them away. We're about to learn if Coronado High School could be torn down as the largest bond proposal in the city's history goes up for review. Also, wait till you hear what else ABC-7 learned about this Border Patrol agent. Remember last week we told you that he was arrested, accused of having a sexual relationship with a teenager. Tonight on New Mexico Mobile Newsroom, with how he allegedly made advances on her and where he allegedly made them. We also have breaking news tonight, a SWAT situation happening out in East El Paso. We'll tell you what we've learned. Iris.
Well, we saw those storms early on, and those storms continue. We're going to take a look at Doppler radar to see what's in store for the rest of the evening.
It's all next on ABC-7 at 9. Starts right now.
Live, where news comes first. From the Mesilla Valley and Las Cruces to El Paso and the borderland. This is ABC-7 at 9 on the El Paso Las Cruces CW.
How goes it, everybody? This is ABC-7 at 9 on the CW. I'm Bob Harp. Let's get your top stories in just a second. First, though, a sneak peek at that weather. We saw some storms rolling through a little while ago, Iris. How's it looking now?
That is right. We still have a lot of activity on Doppler radar, but I want us to take a look at so far the amount of rain that we've seen. This is a look at today's rainfall. Over at the El Paso International Airport, you can see we did get enough rain to put some numbers on the board. Not as much over in Las Cruces and Deming, TRC, Alamogordo, Guadalupe Pass. Didn't see enough to put some numbers on the map, but yes, you can see Doppler radar. We got a lot going on. We'll take a closer look coming up, Bob.
All right, thanks so much for that, Iris. We appreciate that. Let's get to our breaking news and what we've learned so far. A SWAT situation. ABC-7 is following that in East El Paso at Lee Trevino and Gateway East. El Paso police tweeted out this alert at about 8:20 this evening, saying SWAT situation, PIO Petrie responding to Gateway East and Lee Trevino. Well, by the way, if you didn't know, PIO is Public Information Officer or spokesman or person, and Daryl Petrie is who will be speaking with the media tonight, informing us of what is going on. Again, this is breaking news, and ABC-7's Luke Liddon is already working the story for us tonight from East El Paso. As soon as we get an update from Luke, we will put that on the ABC-7 Facebook page, of course, and if you follow us on Twitter, or if you don't, we are at ABC-7 Breaking. That's where you will get the updates. And first, it'll always go to KVIA.com. So stay with us. The SWAT situation and standoff happening in East El Paso tonight. Now, EPISD officials are up against a shrinking student population. It's a big problem. The district is reporting a loss of 5,000 students every year, and each one of them taking with them about $6,000 in state and federal money. Doing the math, that's a loss of about $30 million by the year 2021 and 25,000 fewer students. With that number continuing to drop the following year and so on, unless something is done. Now, with projections that grim, the district is saying it is forced to make changes, and soon. Tonight, ABC-7 Stephanie Guadian shows us how EPISD Facilities Advisory Committee came up with that final bond proposal totaling, Stephanie, $668 million.
Yeah, a lot of money. Months of work went into researching individual proposed projects. Those include school closings, consolidations, rebuilds, and renovations. The last meeting of EPISD's Facilities Advisory Committee was a celebration, the end of a process that began back in March. The committee, 80 volunteers, was tasked with coming up with a proposal on how to deal with the district's shrinking enrollment and aging infrastructure.
And I went in to look at some of the schools and see if there was a need.
In the end, the committee came up with a bond proposal of more than $668 million. Some of the approved projects include a rebuild of Burgess would cost taxpayers $56.7 million and a rebuild of Coronado $73.8 million for a total of about $130 million. Jefferson Silva High School is also approved for a renovation totaling more than $39 million.
They didn't just pull a number from the sky. There were a lot of, great minds working together on this from the district and from contracted professionals that, came together, sat down, looked at, where we're at, where we want to be, and, they had architects, they had design firms.
The proposal will be formally presented to the EPISD Board of Trustees Tuesday, and at least one trustee doubts changes will be made.
I believe they put too much work into this. They're the ones who decided exactly what was necessary. They are the ones who chose the projects, and this is a representation of our constituency.
I think the committee is the end of a process, but it's the start of a new era. And come November, when the voters go to the polls, not only are we electing a new president, but we're kind of shaping the direction for the rest of the school district here locally. So I think that's, one of the biggest things we have to look at.
The tax impact on an average value home would be about $200 a year. Tomorrow, the proposed bond will formally be presented to the EPISD Board of Trustees, and if approved, it will be on the November ballot for voters to make a final decision. Bob, back to you.
That's a big decision that voters would have to make. All right, Stephanie, we'll find out what happens tomorrow night. Thanks so much for following that for us. ABC-7 with some stunning details now on a Border Patrol agent accused of having sex with a teenage girl. Our New Mexico mobile newsroom crew got a hold of the criminal complaint. Now, this alleges that Orlando Gomez told the girl he would kill himself if she didn't continue their relationship. That, she says, began when she was only 15 years old and he was 40. According to the criminal complaint, the teen girl knew Gomez and his family. The victim said she and Gomez had sex dozens of times and also stated Gomez would tell her if she loved him, she would have sex with him. Now, the girl told detectives Gomez also told her there had never been a woman that would make him think of leaving his wife until her. But it doesn't stop there. Here are a set of texts that the teen victim told detectives were exchanged between the two. Now, one allegedly reads from Gomez, "I ruined you. I took your innocence and I live with a lot of guilt." While the alleged victim reportedly sent Gomez a text saying, quote, "I'll tell you what I want now. I want to live with you, but not to be your piece of entertainment or for sex all the time or to look hot. I'm a human. I have flaws." Well, Las Cruces police charged Gomez with 3 counts of criminal sexual penetration of a minor and 1 count of criminal sexual contact. All charges are 4th-degree felonies. By the way, we also spoke with the Border Patrol, and they sent us a statement today, and that reads, "The allegations made against the Border Patrol agent occurred while the employee was off duty. The Border Patrol understands its responsibility to maintain the trust of the community in which we serve and does not tolerate any illicit activity by its personnel that could jeopardize that trust." Police booked Gomez into the Doña Ana County Detention Center, where he's initially being held on a $35,000 cash-only bond. Also out of Las Cruces today, an apology in court from a man indirectly connected to a shooting that left a man dead and that man's brother severely disabled.
I do want to apologize for the incident that happened. If I could go back in time, I wouldn't even be there to begin with. I was waiting to see what was going to go on.
Our New Mexico mobile newsroom crew also in the courtroom today, and Christopher Silva learning his punishment. Silva got 18 months of probation and the chance for a clean record if he stays out of trouble. Silva stood in front of the judge and didn't show much emotion. He also said he plans to better himself in the future. Now, Silva was the lookout for Joshua Jones, who is now serving 13 years in prison for voluntary manslaughter and aggravated burglary. That happened in Las Cruces when Jones tried to break into a home and steal marijuana. That was the goal, according to police. Now, 2 brothers who witnessed the break-in didn't live there, but they witnessed it. They chased Jones down, and then Jones ended up shooting both of them. Jones shot and killed Antonio Molina Jr. and severely injured 37-year-old Fernando Molina. The defense argued that Silva wasn't involved in their deaths and has since turned his life around. The victim's sister was also in the courtroom today, and she did not agree with the sentence.
There's no reason he cannot continue to do well, and there's no reason he won't continue to do well.
They were so focused on his rehabilitation. I got a dead brother and the other one that will never rehabilitate.
By the way, if Silva does follow his probation requirements, the judge said the charges, again, will be erased from his record. The Adrian Garcia murder trial will continue tomorrow morning, but today the jury got to see the graphic images of the lifeless body of a 15-year-old girl who was allegedly killed by her ex-boyfriend back in 2013. Adrian Garcia is that ex-boyfriend that's accused of strangling 15-year-old Alejandra Arango and leaving her in a bathtub. He could face up to 99 years in prison if convicted. The prosecution today called Dr. Mario Rascon to the stand. Now, he performed the autopsy on the victim, and as the jury was shown the photos of the victim, Rascon pointed to the victim's bursted blood vessel on the eyes and forehead. which it's how he says determined that she was strangled. Now, the defense highlighted Rascon's inability to determine how she was strangled, which is, again, why they also argue that if Arango was being strangled by Garcia, she would have fought back, leaving Garcia with markings or injuries on his body, but according to investigators, there weren't any. The defense then questioned Rascon's credentials, certifications, and his findings. We will, of course, be in the courtroom tomorrow. We'll let you know what happens. Well, a man who allegedly urinated on his ex-wife while she was asleep, still on the loose, and he's wanted tonight. Not only that, 26-year-old Jeffrey Halona is also accused of attempting to strangle her. Police say that couple divorced 2 years ago. The 24-year-old woman says Halona asked her to stay a few nights at her apartment. The woman says she woke up and found Halona urinating on her, and that he allegedly tried to strangle her, but says she managed to run to a neighbor and get help. Police say Halona took off before any authorities showed up. If you have any information, you're asked to call Las Cruces Police. Well, 2 people had to be rescued from McElligan Canyon today. The El Paso Fire Department tweeted today that a 20-year-old man and a 17-year-old woman were in need of a medical attention. Now, this happened just before 2:30 this afternoon. We're told the father of the 2 hikers called for help, and heat-related issues is what they faced. Now, there were injuries, but not serious. And the department's search and rescue team made contact with the man and the woman, brought them down about 2 hours later. Thankfully, they should be back home okay and recovering. A motorcyclist, though, involved in a serious crash over the weekend remains in critical condition. Now, police are saying he was speeding. Now, this happened at about 7 p.m. on the 5600 block of Mesa in West El Paso yesterday, I believe. 31-year-old Gabriel Shapino was taken to University Medical Center with life-threatening injuries. That after police say he lost control of his bike while speeding. 24-year-old Marlene Bedoya was also riding with him, but did not suffer any serious injuries. Neither of the riders were wearing helmets. Let's go and switch gears right now. If you were outside at all today, you know the change in weather, something we were following. Look at this. Christine telling us a dustnado. This is near the Doniana base camp, taken from Mesquite Hills. That's my neighborhood. Gary Salazar also today, Iris, saying, what is this? Just saw it to the north of Chaparral. Again, out by the Doniana base, out McGregor Range, that area. We're going to bring in storm tracker Iris Lopez to talk about the dust storms we saw today, or enough wind anyway to kick up that little twister looking thing.
That is right. We saw those winds start to pick up as soon as we saw those storms make their way in. Now, that could have been a result of the outflow that we see those winds start to pick up. And then if you have any dust in the area, you know, it starts to blow with the wind. So for now, we'll leave it as that, the outflow with the wind making the dust, loose dust all around, switch like that. Now, let's talk about our weather right now, though, so we can see how things are looking. Viewer video right now. This is showing some lightning. Look at that. Lightning over near the northeast side of town. This is courtesy of Orlando Sandoval. You can continue to share your videos with us as well, but let's take a closer look at Doppler radar. If we zoom in a little bit closer, you can see over near Mission Hills, Coronado Hills, they're getting some of that light to moderate rain. It's over near in the northeast side of town where they're getting the heaviest rain. If we take things up to Mesquite, Mesilla, you can see this storm is slowly starting to make its way towards Mesilla and Las Cruces, Donana, getting some of that light to moderate rain. We'll take another look at Doppler radar and talk more about the next few days coming up. Bob?
All right, dustnado, as they called it. No sharks, though, in it, I don't think. All right, more.